Hello again, welcome back. It's now just over a year since this old dear arrived in our lives, and since the weather's so terrible and a lot of the work still has to be done outside, even with this cozy garage, I can't really weld in here without poisoning myself. And it's also, there's not really that much space, so it's very difficult to film things. So I thought with it being our first year, we could do a bit of Woollarding and have a look really at all the things that need to be done, because I think for the first time I now have a pretty good idea about all the jobs that need to be done to get this old girl back on the road safely and legally. So I think we'll start at the front and have a look underneath. And it's quite a big list of things, and I think on any other car it would sound like a huge amount of work, but relative to what we've already done with this car and with what she's been through, been off the road since 1989, I think it's not a big deal. It's just going to take a while, but it's pretty standard stuff, and I think with a bit of luck we'll get it done. Maybe by this time next year, who knows? Okay, so let's get you off the tripod and we'll have a close look at what's going on. Item number one is the brake master cylinder. I've got a rebuild kit for this from the Allegro club, so that is just, quote unquote, just a case of rebuilding it. Hopefully that's not too complicated a job. I then need to make some new brake lines. The brakes themselves are in this box. I'll tell you what, cat food boxes are brilliant. So the rear brakes, these are all the gubbins for the rear brakes, and the drums are down here. These are actually in quite good condition. They need a bit of a clean up, but I think they're okay. And I've got new wheel cylinders, bearing in mind this girl's Swedish, so the rear brakes are actually Ford Console, Ford Cortina ones. They're not the standard Allegro disc brakes, drum brakes. And these are the calipers. So these are in quite bad shape. I'm not sure what's surface and what's pitting. I think with these things, pitting is a lot more serious than surface. So I need to clean them up and see how bad it is. May have to just replace them completely, which isn't going to be cheap or straightforward, but it can be done. The discs themselves are in terrific condition. In fact, I would say they've barely been used, so that's good because these are very difficult to find. What's in not so good condition, and won't be a surprise to anyone, is the boots are kind of falling apart. So I need to take the boots off and see what condition the CV joint's in. And when I've been pushing this around and driving it, I've not really heard any or felt any kind of weird noises, but you never know until you take them off. So that needs to be done. Conspicuous by their absence are the hydrogas displacers. There should be one in there and one in there. So I've taken these off, and they're hiding under here. So here they are, hydrogas, made by Dunlop. They've definitely seen their best days, I think. I think in the new year I'll email. Oh no, it's leaking again! Don't leak all over my garage. God knows what that is. I'll email Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy in the UK and see how we best get these replaced. I'm not sure if, I don't think it's like as straightforward as just regassing them and off we go. I think these are probably terminal cases, but we'll figure that out in the new year. We will get proper hydrogas. I'm absolutely determined to get the suspension working properly on this. Right, next thing on the list, you may remember we had a big oil leak, and I said it was probably the seal for the gear selector. Well, I've since found out it's actually the drive seal here. So that's where the oil was coming out. I think you can see where it's been leaking. Wouldn't normally be a big job, I think, but what concerns me is, I don't know if you can, how easily I can show this. Let's just put you down here. What worries me a little bit is this seems to move quite a lot, which makes me think perhaps the bushings in the differential need to be replaced. And I think that's quite a specialised job. I'm not sure if a weekend warrior like me has got the stuff to do that. But yeah, if I can't do it, someone else will have to. Simple as that. And the one on this side is really wobbly. It doesn't surprise me, you know, it's quite a high mileage engine. It's done about 122,000 kilometres. It doesn't worry me. I mean, we'll just replace the seals, fill up with oil, and if it's still leaking, yeah, it needs some more attention, that's all. Underneath, it's been very heavily wax oiled its entire life. So there isn't much corrosion, but still with brake lines of this age, I don't want to take any chances. So the brake lines will all be replaced, as will I think the hydrogas lines. We'll have a look at those in a minute. I think they also need to be replaced, and the fuel line definitely. It's just when you go to all this effort to put a car back on the road after so long, it's just kind of stupid not to really pay attention to these little details, because you can get into an awful lot of trouble if one of these goes wrong. Yeah, for example, I think we'll get rid of that. So that's the fuel line. It's obviously been probably cut. Someone tried to steal the fuel at some point. And this is the hydrogas, and it looks to me like that's kind of, it's been repaired. Looks like some plumbing fixtures, which I think is fine. I think it's okay to do that, but this was clearly done many moons ago. So I think we just take the whole thing out and get a new line made. And down at the stern, you can actually see here, I've been taking the wax oil off. So that's the original body underneath. And then there's a layer of wax oil that's then been painted over. Is this a thing? Is this what people do? And then that itself has been wax oiled over. So to get rid of this is, it's quite a bit of work. It just flakes off easily here, but then you can see it's this double layer with the paint. I mean, I just don't get that at all. But whoever did this has saved the car. So well done, whoever it was, you've saved the car. Fuel tank looks a bit sad. I'm going to have to take that out, wire brush it. Cross tube assembly. So this is where the rear wheels dangle off. It's a sobering thought to think that it's 4 bolts that hold this entire assembly on. There you go. Yeah, lots of surface rust. It needs a good tidy up. We'll see if there's anything else that needs to be repaired. There are the axles. The bearings seem okay. Bump stops have, yeah. Bump stops have seen better days. They just split in two like that. And the hydrogas displacers are still inside. I just haven't got around to, well, I want to take it outside and give it a good clean up, and then take this out and pop the displacers out, but the weather's just been so terrible I haven't had a chance yet. And there's plenty of corrosion in the boot as well. So I'm still seriously considering sending this off to a professional at some point to get the bodywork done, because it's not a huge amount of work for a professional, I think, but for me it would take ages and I'd probably just cock it up. That's all the issues I've found so far, and it sounds like a bit of a moan, but let's not forget, we have a fully working engine, even if it's a little worn out. All the electrics work. So we've got lights, We've got flash. We've got indicators. They're quite slow, but that's allowed. Got hazard lights. They speed up and down, which is also fine. Supposedly we've got rear heated window. We've got the fans. And quite soon, because prioritization, we'll have a radio. And we've got the all-important nodding dog. We've got a two-tone horn. Got a new radiator, Austin Montego of course. Slimline fan, new alternator. I think we're onto a pretty good thing. So that's it for this one. Just a general update, a bit of Woollarding, and just to really go through all the things that need to be done to get it ready to pass its first test in, well, who knows how many years by the time I've got round to it. But it's getting there. It's just going to take ages. It's a lot of work to recommission a car. The longer you leave it, the more there is to it. But this old girl has held up very well, I think. Pick any modern car and kind of guess how difficult it would be to bring it back online after 35 years sat around in car parks and garages. I think it would be a lot harder than getting this Allegro back. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.